Hello, my friends, and happy Halloween. Today is Monday, and I'm so excited about the Daily Creative Challenge. So this is going to be a really awesome week for Illustrator and creating and really having some fun exercises in just basic design, color, just using different tools all throughout Adobe Illustrator. My name's Tyler Pate, and I am going to be your host throughout the whole week. So you're gonna get plenty of FaceTime with me, and every day we're gonna learn a new tool in Illustrator. So today's challenge, we're gonna create custom phone backgrounds, wallpapers, whichever you prefer calling it. We're gonna create some fun graphics, basic vector shapes that could be used in patterns or just fun graphics that can be used for your iPhone, your iPad, maybe even your desktop. So I went ahead and put together what we're gonna dive into. And some of the tools that we're going to learn is the shape builder tool, and we're going to also really get into the pathfinder tool. Amazing tools for creating basic shapes, and you'll realize the complexities of how far we can go with that, but also how much fun we can have with that too. So let's go ahead and jump in. So I've already created a little bit of what we're going to do. So I've got a couple different artboards here to make things easier for everyone. If you go ahead and use Shift O, you can then see the actual artboards that I've already created for you guys. And each one is custom to an iPhone size or whatever iPhone or Android size, screen size that you need. We can adjust it here. And I've got this iPhone 8 size, and then I've got the Plus size, and I went ahead and threw in a Pro, like iPad Pro size, just in case. But these are going to be our wallpapers. And with the spooky theme and it being the great season of Halloween, we're going to make some custom candy. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and dive into what will be our iPhone 8 size wallpaper. So you'll see if we zoom in here, we got all kinds of fun little treats here, fun colorways, and just arranging these things so we make a really fun graphic. So let's go ahead and dive into this. First off, I'm going to start over, but you can walk through with the document that's provided. So let's go ahead and make this lollipop. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the ellipse tool here, and I'm going to go ahead and steal my colors from up top. Or better yet, let's go ahead and have these for reference. This is exactly what we're going to be creating right here. Pretty simple shape, but we can make it fun with some color and just using those shape builder tools and the pathfinder tool to really bring it home. So with this, we're going to do Command C and then Command F, which is going to copy that circle right on top of each other. So you'll see what this means whenever you start moving that top shape. So I'm going to go ahead and grab both sides of that transformation, and we're going to change the color of it to this, and then the background color we will change to the darker color. And then let's go ahead and start creating those different shadows. So we want a shadow and then we want a highlight. That's typically how I like to illustrate my illustrations, is having fun with color. It gives it that dimension, but also gives it a little more artistic flavor. So I'm going to select all of this, and then with the Pathfinder tool, which is right here, we're going to go ahead and click Divide. So what did that do? Divide actually cut all of the overlaying shapes into new shapes. So check that out. Before we had 2 circles, now we have about 3 different custom shapes. And now we're able to go in here and start changing the colors of each one of those shapes. Now they're separate, so it's going to give us a lot of flexibility of making sure we got that dimension that we want. Okay, so that's looking good. Now let's go ahead and start creating the bottom half right here of this lollipop. How do we do that? So I'm going to actually create just a square, and I'm going to turn it on its side so that we got a diamond shape here. And you can go ahead and delete that one point there. And now you're going to start to see what we're creating here is, it's the wrapper at the bottom of a lollipop. I'm gonna bring this up a little bit, and I'm gonna actually send this shape to back. So Command Shift and then left bracket. And that's gonna send it all the way back. And you can also do this too if you go up top and click Object, Transform, and Arrange. These two guys right here will allow you to bring to front, bring to back. Very simple ways to just organize your shapes. All right, so now we got this piece behind our circle here. I think we can make the size a little smaller. And then I think we should also bring this down a bit. Just like that. And a lot of times when I'm dragging shapes like that, I'm usually holding Shift so that it's constantly going straight and not getting a little off on our angles. Because sometimes if you start moving these, you get a little crazy, but I like to hold Shift. All right, so we need to then start creating this little wavy part at the bottom of the wrapper. I'm gonna do this by selecting just the bottom line of our triangle, copy, and then Command F, which is paste into place. So now we have this as a stroke. So let's go ahead and turn this to the same color stroke as the fill up top. And with this selected, we're gonna go to Effects, and then we're gonna go to Transform and Distort, and let's click on Zigzag. So we're gonna get this new dialog box right here, which is gonna give us all these cool little features to where we can adjust the height of our zigzag, or we could even do the number of segments, so how many times we're repeating that zigzag. Let's find a good balance. I'm thinking maybe 9, 8. And this is the most important part. We're gonna click from corner to smooth, which is gonna give us a nice little wave like that. Now we can adjust this a bit more so we know what we got. I think something like that looks good. Okay. Now we got our zigzag, and we need to connect it to our shape up here. First off, we're gonna have to go to Object, Expand Appearance, and that's gonna give us our stroke. Just like that. I'm gonna bring this up. We need to delete this part. Bring it up to where it connects to our triangle. I'm gonna drag it over a little bit so it's perfectly aligned. And then, all right. And then we got our shape starting to form together. And now we're gonna use the Pathfinder again. So let's go ahead and select both our triangle and our new formally zigzag, which is now a curve. And we're gonna go to Pathfinder and click on Unite. Now we just created a new custom shape. Just like that. Bring it up a little bit. We're actually gonna change the color. So what we did, the original one, is we had it red, and we had a little shadow too. See this little shadow right here? How did we get that? Pretty simple. I'm just gonna copy and paste this overall lollipop circle. Copy, paste into place. I'm gonna merge it so it's another solid shape now. And we're just gonna enlarge it a little bit. About right there. See what we did? Right there's gonna be the shadow. It's in the back, and we're going to select that little piece of wrapper that we created. And then let's go ahead and click Divide on Pathfinder. Now we have this new shape right here. Delete the circle. And there we go. We got a little shadow forming there. And you know something I also realized? Like, you could always make sure that these shapes are perfectly aligned by just selecting them. And I think it's slightly off. So let's select these and go up here to our alignments. And yes, now we're perfectly aligned. And now you notice that I think our shadow is a little crooked. So let's redo that real quick. We could do that very easily. We'll merge these again. Select our circle, merge that, and we're going to enlarge it. And select the wrapper, and then match divide. Let's change the color so we can see the difference. Send it back. There we go. Perfect. All right, now let's make the stick. So we were talking about this little area right here. Super simple. Just gonna just press the M key, which is gonna be your rectangle tool. And I'm just gonna click and drag until, let's see, that's probably a good enough thickness there. Send to back. Let's go ahead and copy our color palette. And you know how we were making sure everything's aligned, so let's go ahead and make sure that we got everything aligned. Nice and centered. Okay. So what do we need to do next? Let's round this bottom a little bit. And sometimes I use the ellipse tool, and I'll just go ahead and draw an ellipse tool, just like that. Just to show you, that's two shapes here. And I'm going to select those, and then we're going to unite with the pathfinder, which makes it one shape, makes it a lot easier to get to later. And now we need to get our highlight. You see this little highlight down here? How do we do that? I'm going to select the stick, Command C, Command F. Remember, that's copy, paste into place. So that's putting it exactly on top of the other shape. And then I am going to simply hold Option. Make sure you're holding Option when you're dragging it. You're going to drag inwards. And what does Option do? Option's actually pulling both sides of that shape consistently. So it's not just pulling one side where your cursor's at. Whenever you hold Option, it's going to pull both of them together, making sure everything's perfectly centered. Change the color. I'm going to bring it down so we get the same angle at the bottom. And now mash Shift M. Shift M changed our tool to a new one. So here's another fun tool. It's called the Shape Builder tool. Our cursor changed. You now see the direct select turn to a plus sign. And you can highlight the areas that are selected. I'm not clicking anything. I'm just rolling the cursor over it. So if I was to click this area I want to delete, click that, and it created a new shape that I can now delete. That's looking pretty good. So now we got to get our shadow. Let's get the shadow on the stick. Let's click on that little foil piece that's down below and drag that down a little bit. And then we're going to use the Shape Builder tool to copy that. And then we're going to paste it right there, just like that. All right, I think we're nearly there. So last thing is, let's put the little stars on here. Very, very easy way of doing this. I'm going to copy my color. So with the ellipse tool, I'm just going to create a circle. Keep the circle selected. I'm going to go to Effects, and let's go on to Distort and Transform, Pucker and Bloat. Now we got this little box open, and let's modify it a little bit. Let's go nice, even, -70. There we go. Click OK. Look at that. Now we have a little star here. I'm going to copy, paste that again, make one slightly smaller, and I'm going to group these two shapes, make things easier. Let's go ahead and just duplicate it a bit. And if you hold Option while you're dragging any shape, it's going to duplicate it, just like that. I'm holding Option the entire time and dragging my shapes, giving me duplicated pieces. Let's get the balance right. I'm just trying to get the placement so we don't have too many in one place. I think that's good. All right. All right, that's one candy down. Next house. Let's go ahead and copy and group this so it's one shape now. It's in a group. Perfect. So what's our next candy? Let's make this little guy. So how do we make this little candy? It's a little generic candy. I don't know what kind it is. What flavor do we think it is? Maybe raspberry, cherry, I don't know. We're gonna get our rectangle tool. Let's go ahead and select our color. And we're gonna just round our corners. And this is probably the coolest feature in the past 5 years of Adobe Illustrator. For me, is just the rounded corners. Wow. I used to manually have to do that, by the way. Now it's just as simple as dragging your cursor. All right, that's our base of the shape. What we're gonna do now is hold Option. You see how our cursor changes? And I'm gonna drag that same shape slightly up. Select our original. Let's go to our Pathfinder and click Divide again. Let's delete the piece we don't need. And now we just created our shadow, just like that. Very simple. And we're gonna do that same thing, but we're gonna do it on the other side. And we need to change the color so we can see it. And there we go. So we got our dark shadow, and then we can have our lighter highlighted color on top. Perfect. So let's now create the little wrapper piece on both ends of this piece. I'm going to use the rectangle tool. I'm going to delete one of the points. Now we have a triangle. I'm going to flip this over on its side. So you're starting to now see the piece form. I'm going to group that. Okay. I'm going to actually select this point and drag it about there. Looks good. Let's go ahead and change our color. All right, so how do we get this nice little curve? Very simple. Let's select one point. That's right there. Hold Shift, press C on the keyboard, and now your cursor is going to change to this curve tool. So we're gonna, again, I'm just holding down, moving my mouse, changing the angle. I think right here looks good. But you notice it messed up this other side, right? Because it's just pulling and distorting this. I still have the curve tool selected. I'm gonna go over here to this handle, just click it. One click, it went back to a straight line. That's what we want. And now we're gonna do the same thing on this side, but we're gonna go the opposite way. Just like that. And again, we're gonna click on the handle. Now we're starting to get that curve, just like what we had in the original. Nice and fun. And you can adjust them easily. Click on that point, and you can see the little handle. You can adjust it. Okay. So let's copy that little piece of wrapper we made. Command C, that's copy. And then Command F, that's paste into place. Again, best tools, best key commands I've probably used in every project. And then now I'm going to right click, and we're gonna actually transform this one more time. Or actually, let's flip it. We need to flip this guy. So transform, I think reflect would work. There we go. Reflect horizontally. And now we're starting to get a little more dimension here. Just like that. Perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and group these. And by grouping, select your objects, Command G. Now it's one group. Perfect. Now let's get the shadow on this wrapper. Just gonna drag this shape over, select that shape, and then you could do divide, delete this, change the color of that red to our darker shadow color. and then we're gonna send to back. There we go. Just that easy. Now we got our second piece of candy, nearly finished. And to make things even quicker, I'm gonna copy what we just made, hold Option, hold Shift, and drag that over. We just duplicated it. I'm gonna spin it around. I'm gonna move it right back where we were. Now on the opposite end. So how are we gonna make sure that this is aligned perfectly? We're gonna select both of these endpoints, group them, Command G. Make sure this middle piece is grouped too, Command G. So we have two group pieces. These are both in groups. Select all of that, and let's go ahead into our alignment. Perfect. Candy number 2. And we could add some stars to it. And by doing so, I'll just copy our stars from our lollipop and bring them on down. Change the sizing. Perfect. Perfect. All right. That's 2 candies. And we can easily arrange these however you want. Duplicate them, spin them around, and we will start creating our path. Perfect. All right, let's dive into this next one real quick. And we could do this one a lot quicker, simple shapes. We're going to start with our rectangle tool here. We're going to delete 1 point. We're going to spin our triangle, newly triangle formed, around. I'm going to move this point up a little bit. Now we get more of a candy corn shape. And then I'm going to mash Shift C. That's our angle tool. Start adjusting these angles a little bit. Something a little more rounded like that. Perfect. Just like that. And then I'm gonna duplicate these to get our stripes. Just like that. Looks about right. And then if you go to your Pathfinder tool, we're gonna click divide. Just that easy. Now we got a whole bunch of new shapes here. Let's see what we got. Got all 3 of these. Let's delete the things we don't need. Don't need these. Okay, let's change our colors to this reference color. That's the orange that we already have. And then we have our yellow. Perfect. And then let's make our shadow. Shadow is the easiest part because that's typically just duplicating the silhouette and dragging it over just a little bit so that we can then use the Pathfinder tool and just start creating a few extra shapes. I'm going to merge this so we can see it better. All right, everything's selected. Let's do divide. And let's select these 2 or 3 new shapes. Command C. And let's Command Z now. Let's go backwards. All right, so our clipboard still has the new shapes that we have in it. So mash Command F, and it pasted it directly on top, giving us what will be our shadows once we change our colors. Just like that. Now we have our candy corn. Perfect. Plenty of fun treats here. By the way, who loves candy corns? I don't know. It's one of those candies I'm on the fence about. I always seem to get them when I was going trick-or-treating. I would probably eat 2 of them and probably throw the rest at someone. I don't know. I just didn't eat them. Did not like them. All right, so what do we have next? The pixie stick. Very easy. Take 2 seconds. Rectangle tool. And then we're gonna do a triangle, like how we've been creating our triangles with the rectangle tool. Just like that. align these. Perfect. Essentially there. It's just the color needs to be tweaked a little bit. And then our stripes. How do we get our stripes on there? Well, we're going to use our rectangle tool. Stripes are going to be this purple color. We're going to slightly use that angle. And then we're going to copy and paste. Perfect. All right, and then we will align that and create a clipping mask real quick to put these in that clipping mask. Perfect. All right, so I think we're getting near time, and I think you can notice our process is pretty consistent throughout. Each little candy is very simple to do. Pathfinder is a big game changer for making those shapes quick, duplicating them, and layering them in a way that we can then make these fun little patterns. And again, all of the candies that we did from the first one, I collaged here in the last pattern, and then I made one more, which is just using some circles and a lot of the similar shapes from the other candies. But it's so much fun, and honestly, the colors make the biggest difference. So have fun with this, and let's see if we can add some new candies. I mean, how many candies could we have for Halloween? Hopefully endless. I hope everyone's having a great Halloween, and if anything, you've got some incredible wallpapers for your phone or iPad or even your desktop. So I hope you guys have a great day and happy Halloween. I'm Tyler Pate, and that's today's challenge.